This is a short video I made for the transferring chinook fry up to a reservoir here near Sitka. No, it's probably 6 or 7 years ago. Starts out with a little shot of a dog. Here's the tank that we use, just a modified fish tote, you might say. See the cam lock fittings on the front, and we'll kind of look about the different features. This thing worked really great. There's the fork tubes, you might say, and I'll show you what we're going to use those for later. It's got good tie-down straps. Here's a oxygen bottle, regulator, flow meter. You can see the ceramic stones coming in here delivering oxygen into this tank. It's got some Velcro pads that we glued to the bottom so we could easily install those small ceramic stones, and those are a fine size for these aren't really super huge loads that we're taking up there. There's a better shot of the regulator of the pressure sensor flow meter on the left. This is those type of regulators where you can actually adjust the outgoing pressure, so that's what that T bar is for. On and off valve up on top. Adapter that we made here at the facility there, just to just customize it for this pickup truck. Here's the knife valve, and you'll see them pulling that out later, but there's a good picture of it inside the tote before fish go in. Cam lock fittings that we'll hook a hose onto. Here's where I pre-measured the tote. I just poured buckets of water in there. It was very simple, and then using the displacement method, I could calculate how many inches of fish, and I don't remember what it was, but you guys know how to understand the concept, and you just do some math ahead of time and just pre-mark things with a permanent marker. It makes it really quick when you're loading, and we'll see the loading process here in a minute. We eventually bought a tote that was a little fancier than this. So here these guys are just dip netting as fast as they can. These fish were weighed, and a lot of data was collected before this all happened. And then fish were just crowded, so when the truck pulls up, filled with water, oxygen's on, you're ready to roll. And I don't know about this year, but we usually had like 2 trucks running at the same time because we were moving, I don't remember how many fish we were taking up there, 1.5 million, 2 million, something like that. So it took a couple of days of going all day. Here we're up at the lake, and we're lowering the tote now. The tote's all secured. You can see it's the same tote we were looking at. See how we call these flying forks, but they go into those fork tubes that you saw earlier. And then there's a boom truck, which I think you'll see a little bit of lowering this down. The reservoir is quite low because this is June, I think, is when we did this. The first week of June, I want to say. I don't know if it was June or not, but no, it wasn't. It was like in April. Some of the shots I have of Green Lake show it all iced in up here too, so it can be pretty icy. But at this point, the reservoir is quite low because it got drawn down. It's a hydroelectric, facility that the city owns, and so during the course of the winter, these reservoirs get drawn down quite a bit, just generating power. And it depends on the year. Like in 2000, and I'm in 2015 now. Here they just pulled out that knife valve that you saw earlier, so they pulled that out, and the fish are now able to flow out through that hose. But in 2015 we've had a very mild winter, so the reservoirs are quite full. But here, I'm guessing, I just don't remember. I want to say it's a couple of 100 feet down there, maybe 150 feet, something like that. It's a ways down there, farther than you think. A couple of folks down there. I would think that handheld radio might be appropriate, but I don't see when I see yelling going on. The boom truck driver's kind of picking the tote up to help force the fish out a little bit. You see the knife valve sitting there on the deck. We're going to add some water here just to flush out the last ones that looked a little rugged, but the whole system actually seems to work. Crude as it might seem, as rough as it might seem, it actually works pretty well. And just kind of keep in mind, for the most part, these fish are staying in water. They were netted that one time, but okay, and you can see the stones inside there now with no water in there. And they'll just unhook the hose, and see the fellow at the top, he's working the water and the fish out of the hose there. He's pushing them forward a little bit, just to make sure nobody gets left behind. They could suffocate in that pipe, I guess, if you left them in there long enough. And here's a good shot of another transfer coming on down off the boom truck. Boom truck was off to the right. So we're driving out actually onto the dam. It always amazed me they allowed us to do that, but they did. You can see it's quite a ways down there. Before all this, I had videos of them assembling all these pens. All these pens come out in the wintertime, so they're all put together like Lincoln logs, big, heavy-duty, very expensive Lincoln logs, but like Lincoln logs, including this work float, that all had to be assembled as well. So all that stuff comes out, and that water that comes out is just some residual water behind that cap. So the knife valve is still in place. And here they're hooking the 4-inch cam lock hose on. Got that. Now we're going to undo the top. Take that off. Looks like he's shutting the oxygen off there, which is fine. Fish are just about to come out. There's the knife valve coming out. That was a good shot of that. The fish should be draining out now. Going down the hose all the way over to the pen that they need to go into. And these aren't great shots of the fish coming out. I got a good one at the end, but you can see the disturbance in the water. That's all fish boiling out of the hose there. You can see how the pen just to the left of it is, yeah, that's not bad. But I got a close up here at the end. The pen to the left there, see how calm it is. You can tell there's no fish in that one. And flushing out the last of them. Okay, and this will be a good one when I zoom in. Then I'll zoom back out a little bit, but you'll be able to see the fish coming out there of the hose. They come flying out pretty good. And again, we do quite well. We lose very few on these transfers. Line is holding on to the hose because it wants to jet backwards, to the right. And so that line is just kind of countering that. I mean, it actually works pretty well for these guys. Sometimes challenging, the lake is lower than it is. There's a little waterfall up there, but